Hi, hello, welcome to Eagle Media Works. You're watching Eagle Education. ఇంగ్లీష్ అనే పదం విన్నప్పటి నుంచి అరే అలా బాగా మాట్లాడితే బాగుంటుంది కదా, ఇలాంటి కొన్ని పదాలు నేర్చుకుంటే బాగుంటుంది కదా, అంత బాగా ఎలా మాట్లాడతారు, ఇవన్నీ ఆలోచనలు వచ్చేస్తూ ఉంటాయి. అండ్ అందులో రకరకాల అపోహలు కూడా ఉంటూ ఉంటాయి అనమాట. అంటే ఇన్ని వర్డ్స్ నేర్చుకోవాలా, లేదా ఇంత గ్రామర్ నేర్చుకోవాలా ఏంటి అని చెప్పేసి. సో బేసిక్లీ ఇంగ్లీష్ అనేది మనం రెండు విధాలుగా చూసుకుంటాం. ఒకటి మాట్లాడడానికి, ఇంకోటి ఎగ్జామినేషన్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో. బట్ అవన్నిటిని పక్కన పెట్టేస్తే కనుక వాట్ ఈస్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అండ్ హౌ కెన్ యూ లెర్న్ డిఫరెంట్ వర్డ్స్ కానివ్వండి, వొకాబులరీ కానివ్వండి, ఎట్లా మెరుగుపరుచుకోవచ్చు అనే దాని మీద మనతో సంతోష్ కర్ణానంద మాట్లాడడానికి సిద్ధంగా ఉన్నారు. ఆయన చాలా ట్రైనింగ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉంది ఆయనకి. అండ్ అలాగే తమిళనాడులో, చెన్నైలో డిఫరెంట్ డిఫరెంట్ కాలేజెస్ లో కూడా ఆయన లెక్చర్స్ అవి ఇవి ఇస్తూ వచ్చారు. మేరా ఇంగ్లీష్.com అని చెప్పేసి ఆయన ఒక వెంచర్ కూడా ఉంది, వేర్ మీరు యాక్చువల్ గా ఒక 6 గంటల వ్యవధిలో 1000 వర్డ్స్ ఈజీగా నేర్చుకోవచ్చు. అసలు ఏంటి ఇంగ్లీష్ అంటే ఏంటి ఆయనతో మాట్లాడదాం. సంతోష్ సార్, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ గివింగ్ us this time, sir, and thank you so much for doing this with us. And
pleasure to connect with you.
రైట్. సో సార్, ఇంగ్లీష్ వెనెవర్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అనే పదం వినిన దగ్గర నుంచి చాలా మందికి చాలా రకాలుగా ఒక ఇది ఉంటుంది. అంటే నేను కూడా బాగా ఇంగ్లీష్ మాట్లాడాలి, ఒక స్టామర్ లేకుండా చాలా చాలా మంచి పదాలు మాట్లాడుతూ ఒక మంచి స్టైలిష్ గా ఇంగ్లీష్ మాట్లాడాలి అని చెప్పేసి ఉంటూ ఉంటుంది. అండ్ ఆఫ్ లైట్ ఇట్ హస్ బికమ్ అ కల్చర్ వేర్ స్కూల్స్ అన్ని కూడా ఇంగ్లీష్ లో మాట్లాడాలి, ఇంగ్లీష్ ఉండాలి అని చెప్పేసి. సో వెన్ అ గై ఎక్స్ప్రెసెస్ అ డౌట్, సార్ నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ సరిగా మాట్లాడడానికి రావట్లేదు అన్నప్పుడు, వాట్ డూ యూ లుక్ ఎట్ దట్ అండ్ హౌ డూ యూ లుక్ ఎట్ దట్ డౌట్, సార్?
Okay. See, to look back and answer this question comprehensively, the first thing people should understand is that English is a skill that takes time to master, like any other skill. Of course, we can give them inputs, we can give them pointers to get started, but as a skill to be able to master it, everybody needs time, persistence, and practice. So for somebody who says that I can't even speak English, the first thing I would recommend is to start watching some English channels or English movies without subtitles. Because when you start watching these, you tend to hear it from the speakers of the language, and that gets you started in the process. And to be able to continue it, you could practice things such as reading on a regular basis, simple newspapers, simple books. So that's how everybody gets started. And of course, as I told you, like any other skill, it takes time. So if you're thinking that, okay, fine, you will look at one movie today and tomorrow I'll speak like the movie stars, that won't happen. So yeah, that would be my suggestion. In fact, we've been training people for more than 11 years now,
right.
Across universities, across colleges. In fact, many corporates are also our clients. That's what we tell. So keep up the effort. Start with your regular practice, and eventually you will master this.
Right. Again, the parallel question to this is, for example, ఒక ఇంజనీరింగ్ లేదా ఒక డిగ్రీ క్యాండిడేట్ మీ దగ్గరకు వచ్చి, నేను ఇలా జిమాట్ గానీ క్యాట్ గానీ రాస్తున్నాను, నాకు ఇంగ్లీష్ వర్బల్ యాప్టిట్యూడ్ కి సంబంధించి ఐ హావ్ టు లెర్న్ అని చెప్పినప్పుడు, వాట్ ఈస్ యువర్ సజెషన్? అంటే వొకాబులరీ చిన్న ప్యాక్ ఉంటుంది, వొకాబులరీ ప్యాక్ ఏదో వస్తూ ఉంటుంది, సమ్ వర్డ్స్ అవన్నీ వస్తూ ఉంటాయి. సో వాట్ ఈస్ యువర్ సజెషన్ టు స్టార్ట్ ఫర్ దోస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్?
Right. See, these are completely two different things.
Yeah.
People who want to start speaking English, they are a different category altogether. People who want to attempt competitive exams. In fact, we've also been in the competitive exam space for over 11 years. We've trained more than 1 lakh people for all competitive exams, from GMAT, GRE to government jobs to TANSET, bank exams and all that, SBI, PO and all that. So these are two different categories. So the first request I would make to all the listeners is that don't confuse elementary English speaking skills to competitive exams. These are two different things. So if you have to specifically speak about preparation for competitive exams, all competitive exams follow a pattern. Because at the end of the day, it is a test, right? So when you get used to this pattern, there is a very high chance that you will master the test. And it's even possible to score at the 99th percentile. I myself have scored a 99th percentile in the English or verbal section of all these competitive tests, CAT, GMAT, GRE, and all these things. And when it comes to preparation, one of the biggest illogical thing that I see people doing. In fact, ironically, even I have done the same mistake when I was a student in college, when I prepared for CAT for the first time. A lot of coaching companies give you something called the word card.
Yeah.
Where it's like a pack of cards where there are a lot of words and the meanings are given. So people think it's very fancy to memorize 5 words a day or 10 words a day and talk it to their friends or colleagues. But this is an extremely unscientific and illogical technique, which doesn't yield any results. I'm not only saying through my experience, but also through the experience of the 100,000, 1 lakh people that we trained, it doesn't work. So the first thing is, please, if you have any children at home, if you want to entertain them, you can give the cards to them. They can play with it. That's the only utility of those cards. It really doesn't solve any purpose.
Right.
The reason I'm saying this is there is a reason why I'm saying this. See, language does not work that way. Let us take a typical classroom. Okay, what happens in a classroom is that you look at the teacher teaching, or you look at somebody giving you a lecture, you listen to it. So when you listen to it or when you see it, it is very unilateral. What I mean by unilateral is just you are just using one part of your brain to absorb that information. Right? The same thing with looking at word cards also. There is a word and you memorize the meaning. But what happens to remembering the word? There's a good chance after some time you will forget the word.
Yeah.
And there's a good chance you won't know where to use it, how to use it. And all these problems are because of the fact that it is unilateral learning. When you use just one sense, which is looking or hearing, it is very easy to forget. On the contrary, if you look at how, suppose you watched a movie 20 years before, you will remember the dialogue after many years as well. Why are we able to remember a movie dialogue after 20 years, or the color of the shirt the hero wears after 20 years, and not a word? Is simply because people don't understand the basics of neuroscience. Neuroscience is how your brain functions and how you leverage that to your advantage. So this is why word cards do not serve any purpose at all.
Right.
There are many other ways. In fact, we can speak about it in detail over the course of this interview.
Right. So now, ఈ వర్డ్స్ గురించి ఎందుకు మాట్లాడుతున్నానంటే there is something that you have come up, and when you taught us also, మీరేం చెప్పారంటే వర్డ్స్ ఒక కనెక్షన్, ఎటిమలాజీ కానివ్వండి, లేకపోతే డిఫరెంట్ లాంగ్వేజెస్ కాంట్రిబ్యూటింగ్ టు ఇంగ్లీష్, వీటన్నిటితో యూ హ్యావ్ స్టార్టెడ్. సో ఇస్ దట్ ద వే యూ హ్యావ్ టు లుక్ ఫార్వర్డ్? అంటే మీ కోర్స్లో కూడా యూ సెడ్ యూ కెన్ లెర్న్ వర్డ్స్ ఇన్ 6 hours అని చెప్పేసి, and you have come up with a course, and I have gone through that course also. So what exactly should one person do? And let's actually confine this to let us say, for example, he's preparing for these competitive exams, and what he should do at the outset to start off things with.
Got it. So in fact, as Sandeep rightly pointed out, we've been researching, and we put a lot of years effort and years. So over these 11 years, whatever the effort my team and I have put in, we have crystallized it and create a course called Learn 1,000 Words in 6 Hours. It is not just for the marketing. People usually ask me, okay, it's a fancy title, does it work? It does work. I'll tell you why. Sometime back, I spoke about entertainment, right? Movies and all that. There are certain good things about movies, and there are certain bad things about the education system. We're trying to find a middle path. See, by watching a movie without even having the intent to learn, you are remembering everything in the movie. But you don't, with the best of efforts, best of classroom, best of teachers, you don't remember what the teacher says. Correct. So what we've done is we've taken certain aspects of entertainment. We understood, we did research and found out why people remember entertainment. It is because when you don't just see, but you also hear, and you also get into a feel, when you listen to the similar music, it gets very deeper into the mind. Correct. So what we've done in this Learn 1,000 Words in 6 Hours is that we follow 3 principles. The first principle is something called as puzzle solving. See, puzzle solving has been there for centuries, but unfortunately that technique is not used in our classrooms. So in this Learn 1,000 Words in 6 Hours, we have created a lot of puzzles. For example, I can give you an example straight away. All of you are watching this on YouTube. If I ask you, what is the connection between YouTube and a tree? Right? Most of you won't know the answer, and most of you won't even be able to find the answer. However, without you knowing it, I have activated your brain. Because when you look at things that are not at all related, YouTube is not at all related to a tree. Without your knowledge, you are activating your neural connections in your brain. Right. this is exactly the pattern that a puzzle follows. So what we do is that when we give a puzzle with something that on the face of it is unrelated, a lot of their neural connections in the brain start working. Point one. Point two, we all know across civilizations, across centuries, we all, as human beings, we all remember stories. For example, a movie is a story. Everything around us is a story. Whatever is told in a story form will be there deep in our mind. So in this learn 1,000 words in 6 hours, we've created a set of stories. And the third technique is, as Sandeep pointed out, English language did not originate by itself.
Correct.
There are many languages such as Greek, Latin, French, Tamil, Sanskrit, Hindi that have contributed to English. Instead of taking one word at a time and trying to memorize it, if we go and find out where this root came from, take the root, understand the origin and its usage. In the effort that you're putting to learn one word, you will instead learn 10 words.
Yeah.
And combining that with storytelling, combining that with puzzle solving, all these 10 words will be there in your memory forever.
Right.
It is impossible to forget it unless you sleep during the thing for various other reasons. But I'm sure you won't sleep because we have music going on, we have animations going on in the course.
Right.
So this is how we have solved the vocabulary problem, and there are hundreds of thousands of people who benefited out of it.
Correct.
And this, I believe, is a game changer for people who are looking to improve their vocabulary.
Right.
And having said that, there are many other sections also in the English section, in the English part of competitive exams. We can talk about it probably later.
Next, yeah. Again, sir, one more thing which you have told us when you were teaching us, that to think in English. కొన్నిసార్లు ఏమవుతుందంటే when you look at a word or when you look at a sentence, automatic గా మన మైండ్ it translates into a mother tongue. మళ్ళీ అక్కడి నుంచి మనం ఏమనుకుంటున్నాం ఆలోచించుకొని మళ్ళీ you have to retranslate into English and then do all those things. But I think with this course of yours, you are actually making people to think in English. So, so can you please elaborate for the viewers అందరికీ కూడా what is thinking in English?
See, thinking in English is a simple hack for the brain, because if you actually logically understand what is happening, if you perceive an information, you look at something, you translate it to your mother tongue. It could be Telugu or Tamil or whichever language you are following, and then retranslate it to English. There is a lot of time wasted in it.
Correct.
You do one translation, retranslation, and if you do it for every sentence, you're going to spend 2 or 3 times the effort. Okay, so that is why we advocate something called thinking in English. Start understanding it the way it is given instead of translating. It is a simple hack to save time. And on the face of it, I understand it is tough because like it applies the same thing to any language. Correct. It's not only English. Suppose you're learning French, or suppose you're learning Tamil or Telugu. The first time, of course, you will translate it to your mother tongue. But with time, you will be able to master it. With time, you will be able to get into this groove.
Correct. Correct.
So that is what I mean by saying thinking in English, and the benefits of thinking in English as opposed to translation.
Right. And again, coming back to this course, sir, I went through the course and all the modules that you have given. And now you start off with a very, what happens is that when you're taking a course, sometimes when you come across something very familiar, appudu manaki definitely ga koncham a disinterest starts creeping in. But then you have managed it in such a way that there is అది ఉన్నా కూడా then there is something that you are giving it. So అంటే like ఎట్లా సార్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు for a person who comes into the picture, కొన్నిసార్లు he comes across the words like photosynthesis కానివ్వండి, లేకపోతే అది కానివ్వండి, ఇవి కానివ్వండి ఉంటాయి, and then again you somehow or the other you try and relate it to some other word. So this ఈ process అనేది, how did you think and or how did you come across this, and how did you actually decipher that this is going to help learning English easy, make it easy?
Correct. No, the simple thing that came to our rescue is the sheer experience. Because as a student, I suffered because I was taught the wrong way. I mean, I spent so much time. See, for example, every Indian household has a dictionary.
Correct.
If memorizing and reading words and learning 5 words every day were to solve the problem, everybody in India should be able to speak English fluently.
Correct.
So it's a no-brainer.
Right.
So dictionary word cards do not help.
Right.
So the simple logic is trying to understand how people think, as I told you, right? So human beings, right from a baby listens to a story very well. And we all pay hundreds of rupees to watch an illogical story, also called as a movie.
Correct.
Isn't it? Right? In Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park movie, people wear jeans and t-shirts and drive trucks and chase dinosaurs. Right? It's a story, but we all believe in it. Right? The underlying point, this is what I learned from entertainment. The underlying point is anything that is told in a story form is very likely to captivate the mind.
Right.
Should I give an example, Sandeep, of how we do it?
Please. Yeah.
Okay. So to encapsulate everything that we've been saying, I'll probably pick one of the puzzles or stories that we say. Okay. In fact, this course has 14 chapters,
correct,
14 videos followed by 14 assessments. We'll talk about it in detail, but now to answer this specific question, let me throw this puzzle at all of you. Okay. How is Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, connected to beautiful handwriting? And how is beautiful handwriting connected to calligraphy, the word calligraphy? So all the viewers can probably take 10 seconds to think about it. I'm sure, I mean, even if you don't know the answer, I'm sure you'll start thinking.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, now that 10 seconds is over, and now that I've activated your neural connections, let me explain how this works. Okay, Steve Jobs, as you all know, was a dropout in Reed College. He was enrolled in that college, but he dropped out. And when he dropped out, he developed a peculiar interest towards a course called calligraphy. Calligraphy, for your information, is a course that teaches you on how to write in different ways. He learned that course out of sheer interest. He did not do anything about it. He did not get a job, but he just learned it. Many years later, when he and his team were putting together the Macintosh, the personal computer Macintosh, when he was doing the checks and the ideation, he found out that the Macintosh had only one font type. Until then, if you remember, all personal computers had only one font type. And he felt that this could become a very boring experience for the customer who's using it. So that's when this idea of different font types, different writing types came to his mind. So he and his team incorporated this idea into the font types of Macintosh. And hence, Macintosh became the first personal computer in the entire world to have font types.
Different fonts. Yeah.
And from Macintosh, of course, you have it in Microsoft, and Microsoft made it popular. And today we're all using it. So if you look at it in retrospect, if not for that one idea that Steve Jobs had from that course, we would never have font types in our computers today.
Correct.
Okay. Correct. Now I'm very sure whatever I've told, you will never forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the first trigger, story trigger. Now keep the story in the background. There are certain words I spoke about it. I'll take those words and derive 10 or 20 words in the next 2-3 minutes.
Right.
Take calligraphy first. Calligraphy is a combination of the roots calli and graphene. Calli means beautiful. Graphene means to write.
Yeah.
Calli plus graphene makes it beautiful handwriting. The opposite of calli is caco. Caco is ugly. Caco plus graphene makes it cacography, ugly handwriting. Take the same caco, add it to phone. Phone is sound. The root phone means sound. Cacophony refers to something that is an unpleasant sound.
Right.
As you're driving on the road, if you hear a bus honking behind you,
right,
you feel it is a very unpleasant sound. Cacophony. Take the same phone, add it to tele. Tele means distance. You get a telephone. Right. What do you do on a telephone? You transport sound across a distance.
Right.
And I also use the word, of course, you can take the same tele, add it to make it telescope, make it telepathy, make it teleportation, a lot of words. All these have a distance component to it.
Correct.
This is how you multiply your vocabulary. In fact, I can take another example as well.
Yeah.
Say, take the word retrospect. I said retrospect.
Right.
Retrospect is a combination of retro and spect.
Right.
Spect means to see.
Right.
All the people who are wearing spectacles, who are watching this show, you may not know that your spectacles has a root called spect, which means to see.
Right.
And from that you derive spectacular.
Right.
A spectacular catch in cricket is something that appeals to your eye.
Right.
Retrospect is to look back. Introspect is to look inside. Prospect is to look forward.
Right.
And so on. So now there's an open challenge to all of you.
Right.
I am very sure nobody in the show will forget even one word that we have taught.
Correct.
And you will never be able to use it. Rather, you will always be able to use it the right way forever.
Correct.
So this is what we have done in this course.
Right. And that's what, sir, the connection of the words that you have established. ఎందుకంటే సాధారణంగా all of these words, when you look at in silos, and vis-a-vis when you know that there is a connection between among every word, అప్పుడు మనకు ఆటోమేటిక్ గా ఏమవుతుందంటే యూ యూజ్ దమ్ బెటర్, అండ్ దెన్ మీరు గుర్తుంచుకోవడం వాడడం కూడా బాగా చేస్తుంటారు, అండ్ ఆల్సో అవాయిడ్ మిస్టేక్స్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇన్ యువర్ షో ఓన్లీ, ఐ మీన్ మీ దీంట్లో నేను చూసాను, వెన్ దే సే ఇట్స్ అ స్పెక్టాక్యులర్ సాంగ్, విచ్ ఇస్ అ రాంగ్ యూసేజ్.
Wrong usage, correct.
Right. So because
Absolutely.
when you said spect and it comes to seeing, song is something that we do with the మనం వింటాం, we listen with our ears, so it can't be ఇది అది కూడా బాగా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశారు దాన్ని.
But trust me, Sandeep, this is not only for beginners. Even C-level executives make the same error.
Absolutely. Correct.
So which is what I'm referring to as a foundational mistake.
Right.
As in, when they learned English, it was not taught this way. So a C-level executive, a CEO or a CFO thinks he knows English.
Correct.
But actually he does not. He or she does not.
Correct.
So also, if you look at spectacular, if I can delve deeper, spectacular has two I roots in it.
Right.
Specta and ocular come from Greek and Latin. Both have something to do with the eye.
Right.
So our contention is that when you have so much clue in the word, how can you go wrong?
Right.
So spectacular music is wrong because you can't see music. Spectacular dance is okay. Spectacular catch is okay.
Right.
So this is an example of a short example. Of course, the learning experience in the course will be much better because you won't just hear my voice.
Correct.
You'll also have music in the background.
And చూస్తుంటాం. Yeah. And I also remember these things, sir. మీకు గుర్తుందో లేదో, the first interaction that we have had, మీరు pantry car and companion are both related అని చెప్పారు. So that is something that never went off my mind. ఎందుకంటే pantry car is something that you used to do with మన తినేది, companion ఎట్లా రిలేటెడ్ ఏంటి అని చెప్పి. So if you can just briefly tell that example also, and maybe a few words related to the roots, and maybe అది కూడా మనకి help అవుతుంది to the viewers.
Sure. So this is a proof that the concept is working. Sandeep attended my session 11 years before, right?
Yes. 12 years
Must
before,
be 2010.
2010, yeah.
So Sandeep was preparing for CAT that time, if I'm right, and I had a session in his class. So see, this is the proof that it's working. Even today, he remembers it.
Right.
The example that he's given is, what is the connection between pantry car? Pantry car is a coach in your trains, Indian trains, or just pantry.
Yeah.
You will find it in your office. And the word companion. How are these two things related? Again, let's give a 5-second test to see if anybody is able to connect it. I'm sure they won't be able to connect it. So that's the beauty of the puzzle.
Right.
See, both these come from the root panis. Panis. Panis as a root refers to bread, the bread that you eat. Okay. And as I told you, English language did not originate by itself.
Right.
It has origins from various other languages. As I told you, English language has its origins from various other languages. Now, the same panis in Greek, Latin, and other languages that we spoke about, when it morphed into English, has become pantry. A pantry or a pantry car is a place where you get food. When I say food, I'm referring to all kinds of food, and bread also is food.
Yeah.
And bread is usually the common way by which we refer food, right? We say bread and butter, or
breadwinner.
Breadwinner,
yeah.
Right, earn your bread and all that. So that has become a representative of the food section. Hence, a pantry car is a place where you get bread or you get food to eat. The same panis has also morphed into the word panion. When you look at the word companion, it has com plus panion. C-O-M or C-O-N, both these roots mean together. When you take com and add it to panion, you get companion. Typically, a companion is a friend or somebody whom you get along well, somebody you can share your thoughts and emotions with. And somebody whom you're comfortable with, invariably, not only in Indian culture, in all cultures, you will also share food with them.
Food.
Isn't
Correct.
it?
Right.
So a companion becomes a person with whom you share your food or you share your bread with.
Right.
This is the connection between pantry car and companion.
Right.
Now, it's not just the panis. You could also remember the root con or
Yeah.
con.
Right.
For example, congregation
Right.
is a place where people get together. Congregate. Words like these have also been derived from com and con.
Right. Right. So this is something great, sir. And again, as you go through the course, మీరు suffixes ని తీసుకొచ్చి కూడా you started delving deep into
Correct.
words and all. So that is also another way of improving the vocabulary. అంటే మీ as మన కోర్స్ మీ 14 modules వెళ్తూ ఉంటే కనుక somewhere around the middle you can see ముందు నుంచి కూడా you're adding suffixes, but predominant గా యాడ్ చేసింది మాత్రం సంథింగ్ మధ్యలో నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ ముందుకు వెళ్ళారు. సో ఆ సఫిక్స్ నుంచి లెర్న్ చేసుకునే ఒక చిన్న if you can throw some light.
Yeah. When we speak about suffixes, see, suffixes are words that attach themselves to the end of another word,
right,
to either change the meaning or to add to the meaning. For example, suffixes such as ion is a noun suffix. When I say companion, it has to refer to a noun.
No.
A noun is a name, place, thing, or animal. We played it, right, when we were children.
Yeah.
That game. So that's how we remember a noun. Noun is a name, place, thing, or animal. So ion is a noun suffix. When you have ion at the end of the word, it is very likely to be a noun.
Okay.
And similarly, you have other suffixes. You also have prefixes. For example, when we say, when we looked at the word prospect,
Yeah, bro.
It is not a prefix as such, but right. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So this is the entire gamut and the technique that we use.
Correct.
So when you can master these prefixes, suffixes, the words that come before, come after, you get into a system where you start multiplying your vocabulary. See, all of us know that multiplication is greater than addition in terms of the end result.
Correct.
So we have to use that in our vocabulary also. Right. If you look at linearly 1 word, 2 words a day, it is not going to solve the purpose.
Correct.
Even Shakespeare can't master the language. Look at it.
Correct.
Shakespeare contributed only 2,000 words to English, whereas English has over 2 lakh words.
Right.
Overall.
Right.
With this kind of a large target that we're looking at, this tool that you have in your hand will help you multiply your vocabulary much faster.
So now, sir, me course where you say 6 hours to 1,000 words. So, ante how should a person approach it and etla vellali em vellali? Is there any prerequisite emanna unda? How should he go about it? How should he or she think about it?
Correct. So we have this learn 1,000 words in 6 hours for different categories of people. We have learned 1,000 words in 6 hours for school students, for college students, for people preparing for entrance exams, for working professionals. So depending on which category that you fall under, you could purchase that course. And in this course, let me explain how this is done. This is a video course, by the way.
Yeah.
So there are videos. One video is one chapter. There are 14 such chapters in the course. And the way the course has been structured is that it obviously starts with easy words that you can already relate to, and the difficulty level increases. Okay, so a lot of people might think, oh, the first chapter is very easy, I know it all. You are wrong. It is intentionally made that way.
Right.
The difficulty level increases.
Right.
So I would recommend that you stay the distance and watch the subsequent chapters. And at the end of every chapter, you have an assessment. In fact, the reason why we've kept it that way is it reinforces your learning. You learn a particular word, you learn a particular usage, you are able to use it in the assessment. It's a multiple choice question, set of questions given. You can answer it, and at the end of the assessment, you'll also be given a scorecard where you're told what is right, what is wrong. So you learn the word, learn the usage, also check if you remember it at the end of the assessment.
Right.
This course is for 6 hours. It is called Learn 1,000 Words in 6 hours, but it is not a 6-hour movie in the sense it isn't. Most people can't do it in 6 hours.
Correct.
It takes, from my experience, I've seen that people take at least 10 to 14 days to do it.
Yeah.
Probably you just watch 10-15 minutes. I would personally recommend that you just do 1 to 2 chapters in one day. Think about it, try to use it somewhere, and those connections will help you. And the good thing is that these videos can be watched multiple times.
Yeah.
Actually, unlimited number of times. Once you buy the course, you can play it unlimited number of times. And this course we have given it with the validity of 3 weeks. The reason why we've given it for 3 weeks is that only then people will take action and actually study.
Correct. Right.
Otherwise, if you buy a book, there's a good chance that book will end up in your shelf. And be there forever. So when we say that, okay, fine, it's there for 3 weeks, you'll at least make an attempt to do it.
Correct.
This is how it has been structured. And you could visit meraenglish.com.
Yeah.
Meraenglish.com. Please visit the website, and there are various categories.
Right.
You could buy the course in whichever category that you fall under.
Right.
And my sincere appeal is that don't be in a hurry to complete it, because it does not work that way.
Right.
Do 1 or 2 chapters a day, take the assessment. And over a period of time, this system, as I told you, right, English has 2 lakh words, and there is no system that can teach you you don't need 2 lakh words. Yeah. Nobody needs it. As I told you, Shakespeare himself contributed only 2,000 words.
Right.
So this system and tool will help you, acquire more words by yourself.
Correct.
And ensure that you use all these 1,000 words correctly in your lifetime.
Right.
So that's the whole.
Yeah, the last point is what I was coming to, sir. ఎందుకంటే కొన్నిసార్లు మనం నేర్చుకున్న కొన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉంటాయో తద్వారా we learn multiple words. అంటే ఒకటి తెలిసిన దగ్గర నుంచి అట్నుంచి తెలుస్తూ ఉంటాయి. సో అండ్ ద వే యు ఆర్ బ్రేకింగ్ ద వర్డ్స్, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీరు ప్రిఫిక్స్ సఫిక్స్ అనడమో, లేకపోతే రూట్స్ నుంచి రావడమో, లేకపోతే ఇప్పుడు ఇందాక మీరు చెప్పినట్టుగానే కాలిగ్రఫీ, కాకోగ్రఫీ ఇట్లాంటి దగ్గర నుంచి, అండ్ దెన్ దేర్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ కాల్డ్ సింఫనీ, కాకోఫోనీ, ఈ లింక్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో దెన్ యూ కెన్ యాక్చువల్లీ ట్రై అండ్ decipher the other words meaning also. For example, then a tough word వచ్చిందంటే it helps you. So
absolutely. So for people who are preparing for competitive exams, since I've been in the competitive exam, I'd like to add that also. See, in competitive exams, there is a very high chance that there will be a word that you have no idea about.
Correct.
It happens to me as well. It happens to everybody. So what you could do is you could start making intelligent guesses. And you can start eliminating answer choices, because all competitive exams have multiple choices, right? So when you understand one particular sentence, but you don't know one word in the next sentence, you don't skip it.
Yeah.
With all these roots, with all this learning that you got, you will be able to make an intelligent guess instead of putting the blame on God and luck and guessing wrongly. This technique will give you an intelligent way to guess the right answer.
Right.
So that's how it works. Not only in the vocabulary section, also in the reading comprehension section.
Also. Correct.
And there are many exams where they also test you synonyms, antonyms. This technique will really come in handy. Right. And that's how we've grown as a company as well. Our learner base is huge. As I told you, we've trained over 1 lakh people across the country, and we've been in business for more than 10-11 years now. So all this has been possible because of the results. At the end of the day, any business thrives only when results come.
Correct.
So people have been, and you have a live example in front of you. He's reminding me of the lesson he took 10-11 years back.
Right. So that's it, sir. అంటే నేను డిస్క్రిప్షన్ లో కామెంట్స్ లో I'll have your email ID and అలాగే వెబ్సైట్ కూడా పెడతాను. And we'll also have the link of the course, మన కోర్స్ కి సంబంధించి, so that people can actually contact if they have any doubts via mail, and then they can take the course also. And maybe in the next interviews we'll try and have quick sessions where we can discuss about few words, tough words, esoteric words ఏమైనా తీసుకొని we'll try and see how things go about it, and తద్వారా we'll see ఎట్లా మనం బెనిఫిట్ చేయగలం అని చెప్పేసి. థ్యాంక్ యూ వన్స్ అగైన్ సార్ ఫర్ డూయింగ్ దిస్. అండ్ చాలా రోజుల తర్వాత ఫోన్ చేసి సార్ కావాలంటే వెంటనే యు హావ్ అగ్రీడ్ టు ఇట్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ ఫర్ దట్. థ్యాంక్స్ అలాట్.
All right, Sandeep, thank you very much for the show. And look forward to the next round of interactions.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.